And we are not going to focus on Liverpool and their very, very slow start to the season. In fact, there's a joke that a samosa, you know, that very famous Indian snack, has more points than Liverpool at this point. So, Faiz, the question then is, right, is it fair that people are actually criticizing Liverpool this season, considering everything that they've achieved last season, okay? Let's talk about their glory season of going for the quadruple, playing all 63 matches, burning out, you know, giving their fullest every single match, only to suffer in heartbreak over the Champions League, the Premier League. That's not easy to recover from, is it? Mentally as well. Yes, they call Liverpool the mentality monsters, but how do you recover from all that into a new season starting fresh again?
And let's not forget, they suffer all those while having a squad that is so slim. You know, everyone's workload is just double or triple, you know, compared to other Premier League players. You know, other Premier League players, I would argue, would come into this season fresher than them. Like you said, they played 63 games. It's not easy. You know, if somebody offered me playing 63 matches for the next 1 year, I would probably say no, because it's a daunting task. But how do they recover? I think this is down to Klopp and how he instills some confidence in the team. You know, I mean, these players, they are not stupid. You know, for the last, of course, they play every single match, but the manner in which they lose Premier League and Champions League, I think it is still up there in their minds, right? And you can clearly see in the first 3 games, they lost their star players. So they could always count on Sadio Mane before, but he's no longer there. Without you know, recruitment, without new players, of course Darwin is there, but he's not featured in the United game. It's hard to find motivation just from anywhere, because this is elite football we're talking about. You know, they're so occupied with trainings, they're so occupied with tactical meetings, they're so occupied with matches even, and it's so you know, it leaves them very little space, you know, to think and to recover mentally. So I'm afraid these players, they are still not 100% recovered from the heartbreak of last season, Reem.
Yeah, so I guess Liverpool fans might just have to look forward to a hangover season from Liverpool. But let's first hear from Jurgen Klopp ahead of the match that's taking place at Anfield against Bournemouth.
Jurgen, after the United game, you said, I'm concerned about the situation, but that is how it is. How do you address those concerns with the group, and has there even been any need for any kind of clear the air talk between Virgil and James Milner as well?
Oh, we spoke about pretty much everything, and of course, when I got asked about Millie and Virg, I was the one who didn't see the pictures yet, but obviously everybody else saw it, and I was a pretty emotional player in my times, and I had more often than not with my best friends these kind of conversations on the pitch. There's nothing nothing to clarify really. It's a situation when you're discussing things on the pitch, and especially nowadays with all the cameras and stuff like this, then it looks a bit much more serious than it is. So that's no problem at all. Apart from that, yeah, of course we spoke about the game as well, and if there was one thing, I think, so we have 70% percentage. I think we respect the result. That's how it is. They scored 2 goals. They had good chances on top of that. But we had a lot of moments as well, and they blocked them with all they had. So I don't know how many blocked shots we had, which would have been on target probably. And we didn't have them, these situations, and that's what we have to involve immediately as well in our game. So that's it. But that's the United game. It's gone, done and dusted, if you want. And now we have a different game. It's the situation. It's not the situation we wanted to have, but actually I like it as well. It's a challenge. The thing. It's not the start you want, and so you have to fight back. And I'm really happy that we have the opportunity to play at home now twice, especially now on Saturday. And we understand the situation. I have a sense that our people understand the situation as well, and so I can't wait to create a special atmosphere and feel together, team and crowd, yeah, to make things happen.
When things aren't going as well as you'd want them to, and when it happened before, we know that the reasons, whether that be all the injuries that you sort of have, what can you put in place when something like that happens, so that when you're at the stage that you are now and it's not going so great, that you can halt that? Is there anything?
Yeah, it's my job actually. I'm a supporter of this team as well, but it's not my main job. My job is to put things right. And
did you learn anything from when it happened before? I mean,
I could learn. I know, it's all good, but I could learn a lot in my life when things didn't go well. So yes, I actually. It's not my favorite situation, but I like it as well. It's a part of the job as well to now we have to be careful with the language, but to kind of to regroup. Not that we are not a group, but it's like to find a way, the perfect way together again, to fight the outside world, to fight all the circumstances, not to suffer. Look, the news are not great, so the games are the games, and I think in the past we played much worse games at United, and this day. But the real disappointing part about it, from our point of view in this game, is that. Nothing to do with injuries, nothing with anything else. I know how it sounds, but we should have won this game. We should, with all the things doing here a little bit better and here a little bit better. And now we have to make. And now it's my job to figure out why we didn't do better in these moments. So what's wrong? So it's first and foremost, I think, in a situation like this, it's maybe there's a moment when you just realize something changed. It's difficult. Injuries hitting. But injuries were not at all the problem at United, because the team we could line up was absolutely more than good enough to play a top game. And again, with 70% percentage against a counter-attacking team, it's good, and it shows a problem as well in the same moment. So I'm completely ready for that now. That's maybe not the most important thing, but it's maybe a little bit helpful as well. I want to fight through this, and players come back, stuff like this, and we will get better results, building on that, stuff like this, and go from there. So all the things we achieved in the past are not important in the moment, really not. We don't feel it, we don't rely on it, nothing at all, but it's always new. The new season is different for different reasons, and in 1 out of 4 games we didn't perform at all. That was Fulham. And in other games we did good stuff as well. Not good enough, and not often, or maybe not often enough in the games, but that's it. And now our next chance is Bournemouth, and that's the one I'm really looking forward to. And with all the respect I have for Scott and what Bournemouth is doing, I don't take anything for granted, not at all, but I want to be the one team really nobody wants to play against again immediately, and that's the plan for tomorrow.
New season and new challenges for Liverpool, and one of their biggest challenges is this, as you see on your screen right now. It's their injury list. As you can see, a bulk of that is coming from the midfield, including Thiago, Naby Keita, and of course the forward of Diogo Jota. Let's not forget that Darwin Núñez as well is suspended. So, you know, although he's not part of the injury list, but one of the players that they can't feature. So, Faiz, we've seen that list of, you know, that injury list, and we were talking earlier about, you were saying Liverpool just need one midfielder, right? They just need to go out there and get somebody on board. But of course, you know, Liverpool, they pride themselves in their transfer policy and the type of player they want to bring in and the kind of wages that they're willing to spend. They're of course waiting out for Bellingham, right? But at this point, looking at that list of injuries so early on this season, and, you know, after all the criticism that they've gotten so far, you know, they need to step it up, don't they? Because you can't be relying on Milner and Hendo, can you? I'm
surprised they didn't get a midfielder 8 weeks ago, when maybe Calvin Phillips, Nordi Mukiele, or maybe Leandro Paredes of PSG were all available. You know, just get the business done, because they fit Liverpool's transfer profile. They're young, they're energetic, they can spend more than 5 years at Liverpool.
Yeah.
But Liverpool chose not to go to any of those names. And I thought Klopp maybe has plans on this team, but when you have 10 of your first team squad, 10 players of your first team squad out through injury or suspension, it is just not easy. So nobody knows what's Klopp's plan for Liverpool this season, right here, right now. But whatever they are trying for the past 3 matches is just not working. And it's not surprising. If you see the midfielders that started at Old Trafford, Henderson, Milner and Elliot. You know, I mean, a lot of Premier League teams will be happy, you know, to face these midfielders. But that is so unlike Liverpool, the way they field teams in the past 3 games. And yeah, I still think between now and how many days do we have? 4 days before transfer window ends. They need to make a business. It's not because it's not that I'm saying it is nice for them if they can get the business done.
They need it.
They need it. Yeah, they need it.
Okay, I mean, we've spoken about the midfield. That's a big problem. But also defensively, you know, they've been conceding. They've been for the past 3 games conceding goals. Actually, not the past 3 games. The past 7 matches, going back to last season, they have been trailing by a goal at the start of all the matches, and they've always had to climb their way back up. So let's talk about them defensively as well. Of course, Trent has always been a conversation about his lack of defensive abilities, but also now, you know, Van Dijk has been thrown into the mix because he's always been seen as like that wall for Liverpool, right? But he has been lacking intensity, I think we can both agree on.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Van Dijk.
Yeah.
I think with more time, as time passes in the Premier League, you know, obviously, you know, with all the data and analytics department in the Premier League, they would know how to play Van Dijk. It's been, what, 4 or 5 seasons, him with Liverpool. They know his style. They know how laid back he is, almost like a sweeper. But I still think that there is no place for a sweeper in the Premier League. With the intensity of the new teams, with the intensity of the teams existing and teams wanting to survive, teams fighting relegation, teams fighting for top 4. There's just so much intensity in the league. You cannot be as laid back as that. You know, you're just going to be punished. So I still think he's a top defender, one of the best in the world. But even the best in the world, you know, sometimes can have that days off or weeks off. In case of Van Dijk, you know, we see how Ronaldo been struggling at United. It's the same thing, you know. These top level athletes, they're only human, and I still think he can improve, and I still think he had the mental capacity to turn it back. Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah. And I think we briefly touched on the fact that also, again, you know, this is a World Cup year and that a lot of players are trying to preserve themselves because they want to play for their countries, right? But also, you know, you saying Liverpool needs a midfielder and they need a win, right? So this game versus Bournemouth, how important is it? Like, they need their first win of the season just to sort of like boost morale, right? So this game, going into, you know, playing against Bournemouth at Anfield, like, they need to turn up, don't they?
Yeah, I would remember last season when Brighton visited Anfield. So Liverpool scored 2 goals first in the first half. But by the final whistle in the second half, they drew 2-2. Yeah. So that's what Liverpool can, that's what the opponent can bring to Anfield when they face Liverpool. You know, they just, like you said, have to turn up and have to have a clear game time, because let's face it, they're not going to have the ball for a long time in that game. So they have to be really intelligent. I think Bournemouth, they still have a lot of things to tweak in their team in order to survive in the Premier League. But with Liverpool condition right now, they couldn't ask for a better moment to face Liverpool.
Yep, it is the best time to be facing Liverpool at the moment.